So guys, the chicks are arrived early. I'm trying this live chat thing, and let me just show you some of the things we have here, just for the feeding. Of course, I've started with what we call we got these broiler starter crumbs. A lot of proteins that are packed with a lot of proteins and a lot of energy, so that's why I chose them. Now, just for this week only, and we'll change this. We'll start mixing our own feeds later. There's some chick start here. Probably some multivitamins and amino acids there, like that. As you can see, some methionine and then lysine, like that. So just to boost the immunity of the chicks in this case. So we have some 2 bags there. Just be using those for this particular time. And when you're done with the first week, we'll start mixing our own feeds, like that. So look at this. So I'm supposed to give them some feeds. Actually, whatever I've just shown you right there, that is the chick start. Before I just show you the chicks, look at this. We have some bags there. It's not very important, but we have that. Some water there, some vitamins we may have been using a while. Some vitamins we were using a while ago. It's done. Should be thrown away. And then what else do you have? Some boxes here. So a quick note about yesterday's collection. We had, the chicks came in yesterday. It's 14th of November, and then we have a few deaths. That's 2. Just 2 only died. Only 2 died right here. So only 2 died, and then the rest. Look at that. I think it was just squeezed in a corner somewhere like that. Just squeezed in a corner somewhere like that. But it has some weight in it, so it means it will have been a bigger chicken in that case. So probably need to throw this off. Okay, I just use them to start the jiko, stuff like that. So of course we have to take off our shoes. We have to walk in barefoot, because these are the chicks. Someone trying to escape. Yeah, someone trying to escape. When you enter the room, they're just running all over the place. So just have to close our entrance, a small entrance right here, and then we have that. So the chicks are super active. These are probably their day 2, or it should be completing the first day, like that. And look at that. So these are about 700, or a little more than 700 chicks. They may not look like that because the numbers, of course, the body size is still very tiny at this particular time, so they may not look 700 at this particular time. So that's what we have started with right there. I see some of them are what is that? Oh, I don't like this. Okay, yeah, spaces like that. Yeah, spaces like that. And then hide in those tiny spaces. I just play around like that. So we have that, and then look at this. Look at this. So today, when we brought in the chicks, we did some feeds there. We did some feeds there. These are the crumbs I've just shown you a while back. These are the crumbs you can see, and I mean, this should push their weight probably to maybe a few grams. Now they're supposed to consume, for this particular week only, they're supposed to consume about 11 grams per day. Probably 10 to 11 grams per day, depending on the weight of the chicken and how just curious it is with food. Because I've noticed some of them are consuming the feeds, and then some of them have not yet started getting curious about the feeds that you have here. So when I do something like this, you can see some of them are getting curious about the feeds, but few of them, just a few of getting used to the idea of the feeds, because they see what you have, the sodas here, and then it resembles what you have here, which is actually the our starter crumbs right there. So by the end of the week, they should have consumed around 77 grams. Going by the charts that I had shown you in the previous video. By the way, you can check out that video on the feeding schedule, the number of bags of maize you need to actually feed 1,000 chicks, like that. So that's what they look at. So by the end of the week, they should have consumed around 70 or 80 at the maximum. It should be 80 grams, like that. And then so that's the number we are working with. So we don't expect many of them, to be consuming on the first day. So the chicks came in yesterday, but as you can see, they are not, that active in terms of feeding. And the poop is getting darker, like that. The paper was clean yesterday, but as you can see, from those white smaller poops to the darker ones, which means the feeds are getting digested, like that. And things are moving on very well. Now let me just show you some interesting thing. I don't know if these chicks were imported or what, but you can see that their feathers are actually starting to grow like this. Yeah. You can see some feathers here actually starting to grow like this. So we have some tiny feathers right there. They're popping up. Let me just move closer to the light. Look at this. The feathers are starting to come out like that. So the small, tiny feathers. This one has more advanced. Look at this. So in this just they have not even done 24 hours in terms of feeding. So 24 hours in terms of feeding, and they have these feathers right there. So which means by the end of the week they should be they should have done like a bigger size. The feathers should have grown a lot bigger, like that. Oh, some of them are still sleeping. And is it asleep or dead? You may never know. They look as dead when they're sleeping, just some of them. And look at this. So I like the distribution of the chicks at this particular time because we have two stoves right there. This bigger stove is way better than the smaller one that we have right here, because the smaller one, as you can see, it's yes, it's giving a lot of heat in this sense, but the heat isn't that much. It isn't that a bigger of a stove, therefore you don't expect a lot of heat from that stove. But that one, which we have put some, you can see some smoke in it, some charcoal in it. Yeah, that's one is doing a wonder. So because it's bigger, obviously, and I believe it can support maybe 1,000 chicks. Which reminds me, by the way, guys, this room is a little bit, maybe what is this? 10 foot by 12, but actually 14. Yeah. So from that corner all the way to the other corner is actually 14 feet, and then this should be like 2.5 meters. So that should be like what, 8 foot, something like that. So it should support 1,000 chicks, because I'm seeing there's plenty of space. Now 1,000 just for the first 3 days. For the first 3 days, 1,000. Because after 3 days, you notice that this place has become so dirty and with poop, and then we have to remove this cover right here. And for the 1,000, if you have to fit in 1,000 in this particular space, that is for the first 3 days, it means the chicks, there'll be a lot of poop on the floor. That is the first thing. And then the second thing about that is that the chicks are, as they feed, they're actually expanding in terms of size. Therefore, you find that they won't be able to fit in this room, after 3 days. So they're growing very fast, expanding in terms of body size, like that. And just took a look at a thermometer right here. So what are the readings on the thermometer? So it's 25. It's a morning, therefore we don't expect that much to increase the heat in this area, because well, it's morning. We have a lot of sun. You can see the covers right there. It's in the morning, so we expect a lot of heat. Therefore, we don't have to increase the number of the size of the stove, or we don't have to add more charcoal to the stove in this case. so that we get more heat. But we do that in the night, and yeah, guys, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. You can't sleep for comfortably for like 3 hours. You have to be checking in every 2 hours like that. So I've noticed that the chicks are yawning, which means they need water. They need water and food like that. Let me just try to separate this. I don't want. So some of them are sleeping right there because there's a lot of heat, quite some nice amount of heat right here. So some of them are asleep, and then the distribution is well right there. And then the active ones are, as you can see, jumping around. Some of them trying to consume, starting to consume the feeds right there, and then yeah, like that. So I like the activity. Now let me just give them some multivitamins because that's what they need right now. The chicks start so that they become more active like that. As you move out, the chicks keeps running in like that, running out like that. Okay, it becomes so annoying. Just close that. So these are 2 spoons. It says here 2 millimeters per. That is 2 millimeters per what? Ideal dosage is 1 teaspoon. That's 5 grams per 2 liters of drinking water. So just use this jerry can right here to. You don't want to mix. These are multivitamins, and they have to. A key point about that is they have to stay there for like. You have to keep them for less than 24 hours. So after that, they become spoiled. So you just have to use this. So which means what? Okay, 2 liters. This 20 liters. So we need. Oh, what is the math? So that's for 5 liters. Rather 2 liters, and then I just prepare half of it. That's for 4 liters. That's for 6, and then that's for 8. So I believe that's okay. Let's do for 10. So and then we add water to this mix right here. So that we add water. Now I'm just using these 3. This is just for for per day, because the chicks are not really drinking that much. I look. Oh, okay, look at this. I think they're becoming more active, which is a good thing. You always want them to be more active, feeding more regularly, so that they gain weight and to reduce on those expenditures in terms of charcoal. Like that. The aim of the first week is actually to make the chicks grow some of the feathers, most probably the wing feathers, so that you reduce on the cost of heating the brooder. And now that's what we are trying to do. So just feed these up. Now, most probably I could have filled this is a 100-liter tank, probably 120-liter tank with the multivitamins, and then I serve it for like 7 days. But that's not how the multivitamins work. So you just have to use the small amounts every time you have to give them. So if this lasts for 24 hours, then I'll have to actually give them again, make another mixture of the multivitamins and then administer. That is tomorrow. So you don't have to make the whole thing. It's an interesting point, because at some point I thought, when I was raising broilers some 3-4 months ago, I'll actually fill this tank, this 100-liter tank with I'll actually fill the 100-liter tank with water, and then add the multivitamins, and then they'll stay there for like 2 days. And I thought that was the right thing, but turns out it wasn't. I think we need a half of this. Half of that. That's enough. So guys, the progress is a bit slow. Okay, I'm scaring the chicks. Okay, you can see them getting scared right there. The progress in terms of feeding is a bit slow. This is considering this is the first day, so I mean it's not really that much of the feeding because the crop of the chicks has not really grown that much. The crop is that section which holds the feeds for quite some time before it goes to the gizzard for digestion. So once the crops gets bigger, the chick will start consuming a lot of feeds, and therefore you won't find these remains right there. So in the next 48 to 72 hours, the consumption should resume at a higher rate compared with what we are witnessing right now. So if you have chicks and you see that they are not really consuming a lot in the first day, don't worry. It's pretty much normal, and I don't want these chicks to go out. Let me just give them some water there, like that. So I don't want these chicks to escape, outside. Once you open this small door here, this temporary door here, they run out. I don't know why, but I think I'll have to end this streaming right here. I don't want to step on the chicks actually. They are very fragile, they look, they resemble what we have right here. They're very fragile, and they resemble these sodas. So you don't want to be, that confused, and then you just step on one of them, and then that's a loss, because these things are pretty expensive, but pretty expensive. One dies, you lose a lot of money. Just cover that. Obviously the temperatures are okay because we have the sun right there. It may not be clear, but there's the light from the sun, and it's actually getting hotter in here though, so we don't need a lot of covers, or in terms of we don't need a lot of heat at this particular time because it's daytime. So we just need that during the night, like that. So this is some of the wood we are using just to supplement the charcoal that we have right there, and because those are 2 bags or 3, they may not be enough to cover the whole 4 weeks. We are doing this for 4 weeks. Therefore, in the next 2 days, guys, we should be expanding this. In the next 2 days, guys, we should be expanding this brooder, and I'll be showing you that. So see you.